Today we're going to go over the objection, what to say if anyone ever says, I already have a company. And this is a very, very common objection in every industry you could ever sell anything in, because just about everyone will have or has used another competitor's service before. So what should you say? What are things not to do? We're going to go over 3 of the steps that I go through. So the very first thing, whenever somebody comes to me and I ask the question, Cole, this is what I'm doing, and they'll say, oh, I already have this. In my example, I'm going to give my example. I do pest control. So I'll say, yep, we're doing the pest control, and they'll say, oh, we already have a company. I'll be like, perfect. And then the next thing I do is, and I'll actually say, the next thing I don't do is I don't trash talk them. I don't immediately go into like, oh, you have a company? Oh, who do you use? Use them. They suck. They're the worst. You guys probably have the worst experience. You must have tons of bugs. And I just start going off about the reasons why this company sucks. I do not do this, and I highly recommend you don't do it for a lot of reasons, but the very first reason why I don't recommend it is if you are starting to trash talk the company, what you're doing is you're saying you suck at making decisions. You're trashing them on their decision-making abilities. You don't want to do that to your customer. You don't want them to feel like, oh, they don't know how to make a good decision. You just want to talk to them and let them know, hey, the reasons why people use me is this, not, oh, this company sucks, this sucks, you don't know what you're doing, let me tell you why you should use me. Because all of a sudden now they're kind of more on defense. They're like, oh, this person's just trash talking me and my decision making abilities. Don't do this, okay? So that's the first thing you don't do. Don't trash talk. Second thing that you need to go over is what to say if they say that to you. And what you do is you get ammo, is kind of the way I like to put it. What I mean by get ammo is you need to learn a little bit more about the situation this customer has. Because sometimes, let's say they have a company. Well, are they currently servicing you, or did you use them, a year ago, 2 years ago? Like, you need to learn a lot of, or as much info as you possibly can without it being like too invasive. So the way I would do it with pest control is it's 3 questions for me. It's cool. You have a company, perfect. You got to have someone here, right? And I'll usually say, and who do you use? And they'll tell me. And then I'll say, great, they're a big company. I'm not dissing on them. And then they'll say, yep, big company. Second thing I'll ask them is, and how long have you been with them for? And the reason I like to ask this question is because depending on how long this person's been with them, I know if they've been with them a short amount of time, they're almost for sure in a contract. And I don't need to waste my time working with somebody if they're already in a contract. Versus if they've been with them for over a year, then guess what? They're probably open to the idea of switching if I can either give them better value, better service, or a combination. And so that's my second question. And you can find whatever industry you're in, find another similar question that'll help you pretty much identify, is this person worth my time or not, qualify them quickly. And then the third thing you want to ask them, and the way I like to ask it is, go and correct me if I'm wrong, but these are the things they do for you. And instead of me asking, cool, what do they do? I'll just tell them, because I'm the expert here. I already know what almost all of my competitors do. If you don't know what the competitors do, you really should know, because that's your good competitive edge. You need to know what you provide versus what your competitors provide. And if you have no competitive edge, then, if you're the customer, why would you buy from you? You wouldn't. So you need to know your competitors and learn what things you do different. There's always something you can do different, always. So you learn, you say, cool, so-and-so, I know they do this, they do that, they do this. Does that sound about right? Great. Is there anything else they're doing that I missed? And a lot of times they'll tell me no, and that will allow me to move on to my next step, which is, great. The reason why so-and-so upgraded, or the reason why your neighbors are upgrading over to me, it's not because they were unhappy with their company, but more so because we specialize in these homes and we were providing so much more service, it just made sense. Does that kind of make sense? Does that kind of click for you guys there? Like, what I've done now is I have let them know, hey, I understand you have a company. I know who they are, how long, so I can kind of qualify if they're worth my time. Let's assume yes, they're worth my time. And I told them the things that they're getting with their company, and they agreed to it. And now I know, okay, well, if they're only getting those things, then that means I can talk about this point and this point and explain why those are so important and a reason for you to upgrade over to me. And so that is the step for overcoming the objection, I already have a company. Number 1, don't trash talk. Number 2, get ammo. And whatever industry you're in, you can get more. But those are my personal 3 questions. I kind of I move quickly, but enough time to get to know if this person's worth the time to qualify them. And then the third piece is, once I've qualified them, I say, hey, these are the reasons why everyone here is upgrading to me. The reason why I'm knocking your door right now is because I am actually specialized for this types of homes. I'm specialized for this type of service because we are providing this right now. And then you go into it. And so those are your tips on how to overcome the objection. I already have a company. Hope it